Can you figure this out?
You guys can hear me?
Okay. Figure this out.
Loud and clear. Great. It's like Groundhog's Day, I feel, every time I got to do these lives. Seriously feels like Groundhog's Day, Twilight Zone, all of that stuff. Okay. Jeff took Enzo out for a little bit so that I could do this live. I think he knew that it was going to get loud up in here. It was about to get turnt because there's just a lot of stuff that I'm over that's just taking up way too much time, and it's annoying. But I feel like it needs to be said, so what I'll do is hopefully save this. That way, the next time somebody wants to come at me with anything, I could just be like, hey, I did a live on that, and you should listen to it if you have the time. How was everyone's weekend? Good. If you're new here and new to this movement, please do not watch this. You will be so, like, I don't want to say turned off, but just, like, you're not going to want to go and investigate further, and we need you to investigate further. We need as many people to get on the same page that at least they can recognize that poison is poison, and then that's it, because that would be great. So you guys had a good weekend? That's good. I just have some stuff to say because there are a lot of these. In recent months, I'm hearing this term being thrown around a lot. And at first I was going, well, maybe these people had good intentions. Maybe they mean well. Because I always want to think that people mean well. Like, you have to give people the benefit of the doubt before coming to any kind of judgment, right? Like with everything. And that's it. Like, I try, because animals are better than human beings. Well, yeah, animals are not easily corrupted, right? Human beings are, which is why we value and love the children so much, because children are the most innocent, and they love their guardians, even if their guardians are clearly abusers. This is why the fight is always for this portion of our human race that is the children, that they don't know better and they are trusting, right? But we are in a society too that's sick, evil, and cruel, that doesn't even recognize children as human beings, okay? We can't even recognize a fetus as a life, as a human, and they're not worth that label yet of being a human being until they take their first breath, right? So you're also dealing with that kind of playing field. So I gotta really summarize it in that way. We are dealing with a society that's not even recognizing babies as babies, okay? Let's start with that. So okay, people are throwing around controlled opposition. All right, so I'm like, well, that's crazy, that sucks. I'm seeing that a lot on my Facebook. I'm seeing it a lot in people that, I don't want to backtrack because I already kind of wrote about it yesterday. Leaders in the movement, for me, there are no leaders, but you know what? Maybe that's because I'm a bit of like an alpha female, and you know what? Alpha females, we don't really run in packs. Like, I can take something, just be like, oh, that's cool. I wouldn't do it that way, and go on with my merry way. Like, I'll just go on, live my life. I will not take the time. Because that's like time and energy that is just like pointless to me to go after somebody, and especially like another mother. So what is controlled opposition for those that are like, dude, what is that? Okay, well, controlled opposition by definition is a strategy in which an individual, organization, or a movement is covertly controlled or influenced by a third party, and the controlled entity's true purpose is something other than its publicly stated purpose. So the controlled entity serves a role of mass deception, surveillance, and or political social manipulation. This is not to say, okay, so controlled opposition clearly exists, not just in this world, but like in a lot of other venues and things going on, okay, in the political world, whatever. I got beef though, and why I'm saying I'm done with anonymous accounts. Like, here are my reasons, okay? If you're anonymous, in my opinion, it's cowardly to begin with. I'm going to tell you why. Fine, you want to stay anonymous for various reasons. Maybe you don't want your friends and family to know your true opinions and your true thoughts on certain topics, and you feel braver being anonymous. So what does that mean when you're not anonymous? That you are not as brave, right? Accounts like Q or Anon, when people are like, but then don't you follow accounts like that? I take everything like that with those kind of big accounts with a grain of salt, okay? Notice what they do and how they conduct themselves too. They will literally post up vague things, emails, screenshots of like, oh, check this out. Oh, isn't that interesting? And they will let you sit back and take that info, right? They'll let you take that information how you want to take it and you interpret it. They're not going in and, I mean, for these other anonymous accounts that I'm referring to, maybe they are genuinely worried that Big Pharma might go after them if their account gets too popular. So maybe that's the reason why they want to remain anonymous. Okay, they have every right to do that, just like I have every right to not want anything to do with them, okay? But then sometimes these anonymous accounts are created so that they can drag people through the dirt without looking like the bad guy / coward that they actually are, all right? Because me putting my account on private versus public is not the same as being completely anonymous. Many of us are going the private route right now because our stuff, it's the censoring, and our stuff would get taken down almost immediately, right? Like, I've already lost 6 highlights. I don't get why I lost. I understand some of the ones that I lost that were likely reported because of the titles. Like, one was literally called Autism Link. So I get it that some troll likely got on there and was like, no, report this. This is misinformation. But to remove my religious exempt highlight, like, what is that about, Instagram? Why? We have, under the law, all these states that still allow religious exempts, so what is the problem with something like that? But the difference between myself and other quote-unquote leaders that are public, meaning we show our face, and anonymous accounts, okay, is that I have the balls to be like this under my own name, okay? I own my comments. I own what I say, whether it's good or bad, and I deal with the consequences. If I say something that somebody comes in and is like, well, actually, no, this is how it really, I'll correct myself. Be like, well, shit, that sucks. Okay, I'm putting my face out there. I'm putting myself out there, and I've been called every name under the sun. I've gotten some pretty, I've pissed off a lot of people, clearly. And that has to do maybe with just approach. Some of us have a different approach than others. It's a personality thing at the end of the day. But I've had to deal with all this stuff. But I do it under my own name, okay? I'm enduring the price that you have to pay for being outspoken on social media, which makes it really difficult for me to respect or even give my attention towards cowards who can only talk tough when they remain hidden. So I just can't respect you. I mean, they're literally the online version of people who throw bricks through the window in the middle of the night. That's who you are to me, okay? Some people want to not put their names out there. They have that right to not do that. But I'm just saying it's hard to respect or take your posting seriously then in that case, especially when you want to engage in personal attacks on other people behind your wall of anonymity. I'm not even saying the word right, anonymity. So these anonymous cowards offline are, for me, even more dangerous and a bit more scumbaggish. What happened over the weekend kind of set me off. It was really irritating because you have these accounts and they're all over. They're not just on Instagram. They're on Facebook too. I just want to say there are a lot of quote-unquote leaders in this movement that they do things and they operate in a way that I don't necessarily agree with. I don't like sometimes. I don't like their methods, not them as a person. There's a difference. And then the other bigger difference is I don't sit back and break apart what they're doing and like, oh, look at this is terrible what they're. No, I don't do that. I just like go about my day. You know, oh, okay, well, I wouldn't do it that way. I do it this way. And then that's it. And that's kind of how it should be. But there obviously, okay, when there was an anonymous account that was attacking the whole V is for vaccines movement and that whole, oh, but then your V for vendetta and the theme with that and the remaining anonymous. Obviously, you guys, there are people who need job security due to the censorship and due to the beast, like the nature of this beast that is big pharma, right? Where anti-vaxxers have been demonized. So they prefer to remain anonymous when they're protesting. Fine. But clearly there have been protests where people show face. There have been protests where people show face. In other words, it's not the same thing as having a social media account and remaining anonymous. Okay? You're the type of person that ends up in these chat rooms and you're just wreaking havoc and you're doing things that are like pointless. They're not helping anybody out with the movement. Peaceful protests online or in person, that's entirely up to you how you want to advocate. I won't judge you. I advocate in multiple different ways. There are some people that they're like, I literally can't do any of that. I refuse to do any of that. I would rather drop off cards in places. I'd rather stick Post-its in places. Fine. And you shouldn't be judged for doing what you're doing. No one is being forced to advocate. Please, like, realize this right now. No one is being forced to advocate. We are being forced to vaccinate. No one is forcing you to get up off your seat and take a stand for anything. That's completely on you. This is to address the very people who do not do anything, but they sit back and criticize the people who are. That's what this entire post is for right now. In regards to the slander, all right? Calling people out and using their personal history against them. There is a difference. If you are a public official like Senator Pan or Lorena Gonzalez and you're taking bribes, you are taking money from the opposition and then you're writing tyrannical bills, that's different. You're a public servant who is serving the public, okay? You're serving the pharma machine though and yourself. You're not serving the public when you're taking money. So it's fine for constituents like you and I to call out leaders in the political realm for doing things like this. But to take the time and the energy to slander a fellow parent in this movement that was dubbed a leader by who knows and what, it's low and it's shameful. And I hate to be obvious, right? It's not the same thing. In regards to people in this movement profiting now off vaccine injured, because you got these same kind of anonymous accounts that are literally labeling off people, saying they're profiting, look at them, they're profiting off vaccine injured. First of all, who isn't vaccine injured? Who is not, at this point in history, vaccine injured? If you are not vaccinated, but your mom was or your grandma was, and you're not understanding that this kind of poison and toxicity is generational, I got news for you. We're all very broken individuals. All of us. If you were never vaccinated, I mean, the fact that our water, air, and food is being poisoned, we're all going to have health issues. We're all going to have health issues. And get this, it is nobody's damn business. It is nobody's business how much a person makes. What, like, are we really going there right now with these kind of accounts? Are we going there? The last person that you should have to explain yourself to is an anonymous coward in this movement. Pharma is the only one profiting off of vaccine injury. Okay, you know who profits off vaccine injury? Pharma. The people who take the holistic nutrition route, many of them, what you don't realize, would rather have stayed in the position that they were in with the degree that they got and went on living their best life, just went on living their lives, okay? I'm going to give you an example here because everybody's so torn on this issue. Medical Medium. Many of you like him Many of you don't like him. He has clearly made a name for himself and a fatty income at this point. He's got a fat income, but he is clearly, whether you like it or not, helping people. His methods of helping people, we may or may not agree on all the time, okay? So, but now he's likely financially very well off, okay? But haters are going to sit back and be pissed about this. They're going to call him X, Y, and Z. You know what? Here's what I got to tell you, though. If these people really wanted to profit, they would be pro-vaccine. Let's say I wanted to quit everything today because I'm like, I don't like the scrutiny I'm getting online. It's not even worth it. Like, it's not even worth it to try to wake up half these zombies when they're going to remain zombies to begin with, when they're not even going to take their health into their own hands. They're either going to listen to their doctor or they're going to listen to the next person on Instagram. Like, they're not taking their health into their own hands, period. So if I wanted to just quit today and be like, you know what? I'm just going to quit and I'm going to just I'm going to go full time on this detox. I'm going to go full time on this detox. Well, guess what? I would be, in order for me to profit to the extreme on that, I'd be pro-vaccine. Why? Because I'd make a killing on detoxing and CBD if I was pro-vax, because it's further adding heavy metals into your system. It's like you're going to feel shittier. The pharma meds are not going to help you, and they're going to bring all kinds of side effects into your life. So I'll just be sitting back going, I'll be like that guy with the coat in Town Square, right? Hey, I got this spray and it's going to help you feel a little bit better until the next time that you decide to poison yourself. So do it. Like, I'd be pro-vaccine. For sure be pro-vaccine if I wanted to make 10 times. Okay? Is all I'm saying. You are comparing people. These anonymous accounts, I'm addressing you, okay? You are comparing people who are making grains of salt compared to big pharma. Are you kidding me? There are accounts right now that are going after the likes of like Brittany Cara. She's been in this movement for so long, and it is shameful the kind of things they're posting. Why? Because she created a hub for like-minded mothers to gather together, and guess what? It's not free, and it shouldn't be free, okay? It shouldn't have to be free. That's low. Some people want to give information for free. Some people don't, and that's totally up to them, and it's none of your business. You don't like the way that somebody's doing something? Move along. Don't support them. But you're going to sit back and create a toxic post? Like, personally, I find that doing the research and doing all of this by myself, I find value in that because it helps me grow as an individual. It helps me grow in just myself and my life, and I love it. I love doing that on my own. So a program like what she's offering would be of no value to somebody like me. But am I going to downplay that, and am I going to tell other people that they shouldn't do it? If you are so busy and consumed and you're like, you know what? I don't mind paying somebody $10 because they've spent a decade doing the research, and I'd rather have everything like in a hub where I can get... Great, man. More power to you. Then you go do that. That's cool. I'm not going to take the time, though, to like be toxic and talk shit on a program like that, even though it's something I wouldn't use. Okay? Another instance, there's a big account on here called Corrupt Vaccines. And I maybe shouldn't even talk about this because a lot of people are like, oh my God, don't go there because this account in particular, they will go after you. They will slander you. You know what? Balls to the walls at this point, whatever. They will go after somebody like Cozy's Wellness, okay, who's a father who has been a part of this movement, who spends his free time freaking at the Capitol doing all of this stuff that he doesn't have to do. He got attacked by this account. They smeared his ass, okay? They did an entire highlight post on him. They went after him, and for like no real good reason, right? They not only smeared him on a highlight, but on their stories. And then get this, they weren't done with this guy. It wasn't enough that they smeared him all over social media. They went online after his business. After his business, they went on Yelp. They slandered his ass so badly on there that he had to remove all his business stuff from the internet because it got that bad. They were literally calling him things with zero proof just based on a hunch. It was so messed up. And you know what that did? That made a lot of other leaders in this movement sit back and freak out. Like, oh my gosh, I don't want them to do that to me. I don't want them to come after me and drag my name and I've worked so hard and I don't want them to come after my business. You know what? If you are silencing leaders in this movement with this division, then you are the controlled opposition in my eyes. You're the controlled opposition. Do you see the rest of these leaders taking the time to create posts and call out other individuals in this movement? No. We're too busy trying to make an impact. We're too busy trying to do better for our kids. What's going to happen if enough leaders see posts like this and then they turn away? That they decide they don't want to speak anymore because the harassment, the scrutiny from a populace that they're trying to help is just not worth it. It is not worth it. What then? Who won in that transaction? Who wins? Because it sounds like the only winner in that transaction was Big Pharma. And it sounds like you helped them. Can you imagine what kind of garbage account, like these type of garbage accounts, what they're doing to the leadership qualities in all of us? In the person who is sitting back at home right now debating, speaking out, and they see garbage like this, they're not going to want to do it. They're not going to want to speak out now. It's not going to be worth it because why? If you even become successful, you can't even display your success. You can't display your success. Really? Shouldn't you be happy that there are people who are actually able to make a living helping others? It's a huge reason we're in this mess to begin with. Can you imagine? What if you were a nurse right now? You're a nurse right now and you're waking up to all of this madness. You realized that the school that you went to, the degree that you got was all pharma funded, it was pharma sponsored, and now you're in this machine. You're in this hamster wheel of a machine because you're in all this student loan debt and this is your job and that's the only way to put bread on the table for your family. But you don't like it and it's not settling to you because you now are awake to the truth of this. What are accounts like that going to do for you? They're going to make you back down. They're going to make it so that you're going to say, well, crap. So if I get into any other kind of business where I am actually helping people and I'm profiting off helping people because I'd rather profit off helping people than profit off the sickness to begin with and continuing to keep people sick, they're going to go after me. They're going to slander me. What is that going to do? How does that help? Should we just go back to what we were doing prior? All of us? Because the scrutiny at this point is off the charts. I mean, I could just get my stuff together. I mean, I have most of my shit together and say, F everybody else, all right? F this entire movement. I mean, my family is going to be fine. You know, we're all in this big hamster wheel, but at least I'm not first in line and my kids aren't going to be first in line because I already know that I got my stuff in order. If you don't see the value in what myself or blank quote unquote leaders are doing, it's okay. Go on your merry way and thrive. I wish you all the best. But why should we feel like we're on this constant defense? It's an attack on the little people, truly, the little people in this movement. If you have the time to go after the few doctors who can't even be doctors anymore because they spoke out against the pharma machine, so they obviously have to make means elsewhere. Really? Is all I gotta say to you? Really? You're gonna take the time to do that? To take the time and energy to do that, to go after Suzanne Humphreys, Wakefield, all these people, call them controlled opposition. You're going to take the time to do that, but you're not going to go after the very doctor that's listed on your insurance payroll because that doctor is off limits to you. That person who gets to prescribe a 4-year-old today Ritalin after one visit, that guy isn't worth going after for you. But these other people are worth going after? Really? You literally have a plethora of options to choose from in terms of people who are actually corrupt and profiting, and they're not your target. Your target is the mom in middle America who seems to have her shit together. You are scum. You're lower than scum. You're a freaking parasite, which, by the way, TRS can help remove parasites. Wink. If only TRS can work digitally to help remove your parasitic shit off my newsfeed, that would be brilliant. What's actually happening, you guys? What's actually happening here? We were all lied to. We were all dumbfounded. We were all blindly believing in a system that was profiting off of our illness, off of our health. All of us. But some of us take betrayal like that and they learn from it, right? We try to know better, do better. But others, they take that betrayal, that trauma, and they harbor it. They hold it, and they start looking around, and they now don't know how to deal with that kind of trauma. So they start leaching their toxic onto other people, the people that didn't do anything to them, that didn't put them in the position that they were in because of maybe their own personal bad choices in life. Are you really not going to live your life based on some anonymous person's opinion of you? This is what I got to say to anybody that feels like they have a leadership quality and that they want to talk and they want to speak out, but they're so afraid to. I'm going to quote Gary Vee. He cusses a lot, so I'm taking out all the F-bombs. But imagine that he's saying this with the F-bombs. I'm going to remove them. But he says, is your life so sad that you have time to allocate poison and negativity on other people's lives? That's honestly, at that point, that's a super highlight on your own life, saying that it sucks big time. It must suck big time because you're letting one, you're taking so much time. And then these people that are being affected by this, we're letting one random account validate our own lives. Like, you're the person. You random accounts like this is who you are to me. This is who I view you as. You're the person that goes to a restaurant and orders out of your free will. You look at the menu and you order the shittiest thing on the menu. You're like at Denny's ordering a steak. Like, Denny's isn't known for steaks, boo. Okay? Like, you're at IHOP. Wait, actually, IHOP does do burgers now, don't they? You're at IHOP, period. Whatever. You're at a GMO feeding restaurant, okay? You're ordering a meal that was probably the crappiest meal to begin with. And your meal sucks. And you're like, damn, this meal sucks. But you're so non-confrontational. You're so anonymous that you would rather, instead of what, like, the average person would do, which is like, excuse me, hi, this meal tasted like shit. I didn't really like how this tasted. It was kind of my fault for ordering it, but it sucks. Can I maybe try something else? Please, that would be nice. The goodness in your heart to let me just order something else to begin with, that would be great because we're in America and we could do this. Other countries, they'd laugh at your ass. Other countries would be like, no, you're paying for that because you ordered it. But so instead of doing that and getting a better option, getting a better meal, the manager being like, it's cool, I'm glad you told me. You're going to go home and you're going to Yelp.com because I am so passive aggressive and non-confrontational. Yelp.com. Your date is like, cool, I'm not getting laid right now because she had a really bad steak. I'm not going to continue this date night right now because I need to post a Yelp review. And you are writing a 4-paragraph essay on a restaurant. That's who you are. You're going home and Yelping the restaurant instead of making wild, passionate love to the person that paid for your freaking steak to begin with, dumbass. You're writing a 4-page essay on how terrible the quinoa salad was. Do you know how pathetic that is? Like, do you know how pathetic you are? And then the restaurant's getting this review going, roll back the tape. Can somebody roll back the tape? What happened? Why did nobody address this? And then they're sitting there, and the manager's sitting there looking at this tape going, what the hell? They ate it anyway. They were mad. They left a shitty tip. And then they went home and they did it. Like, what? You could have just called me and we could have squashed this whole thing and you could have had an orgasm that evening, but you didn't. You didn't want to have an orgasm because the terrible quinoa salad. Oh my God, you're so pathetic. Like, this is how I view these people. Literally. I'm sorry. Oh man, I'm going way off topic here. Whew, boy, I read these paragraphs and I'm literally like, damn. I'm thinking of the guy on the couch that's like, the beta male that's sitting on the couch. Well, damn, I had to pay for that meal anyway, and she's still upset about it. And I'm likely not going to get my thing sucked. That sucks. This whole thing sucks. Sorry. Where was I? What point was I on right now? Because you got all these ideas, boo. You sit back writing these paragraphs, writing these essays. You seem to have a lot of ideas. You have all these ideas on how things could be better, all these creative, like, oh, you know, yeah, that protest, that movement, fine, whatever. It's getting hailed. People think that it was so freaking creative. Well, they should have done it this way. They should have protested here. They should have done this with their sign. They should have, they. What is that? What is that? Why don't you do it? Why don't you do it? Okay? That's exactly what all these trolls are right now, this Miko Tiger Lily. Sorry, all of these trolls literally are just not getting... What if at the end of the day, you know what, scratch everything I said in this entire live, you're not getting laid, boo. We know this. We know this. You are not getting any. That sucks. That really sucks for you. I'm just going to sit back and feel bad for you for a second. Man, that sucks. Dang, that's hardcore. Whew. All right, moving on. Why don't you do it? Why don't you do it? Okay? Why go after individuals? Excuse me? Where are you? Because the doctors who speak out on this topic, they get murdered or silenced or they go missing. Scientists who speak out on this topic, they get jailed. Okay? They have to be whistleblowers. They have to lead a very non-glamorous whistleblower life. They get slandered too. So what more the mother that's sitting at home who's just trying to keep her kid in school and just trying to keep an exemption? What more that person? Really? Really? Why don't you do it? Oh, wait, that's right, because you're chicken shit. So when we protest and take all this time and certain bills still get passed and everybody's now down in the dumps, like, damn, we went through all of that. I spent all this money. I flew to this place. I called all these senators. like, you literally, all the time invested, right? We're so upset. All of us are upset together. We're all upset together because what's going on? Things are still getting passed. They're still getting passed. But what are you doing? What are you doing, Anonymous? You're going to blame leaders in this movement. You're going to blame them for a broken system? Really? It's run by evil Satanists. Have you not been paying attention? Have you not been paying attention? The biggest cover-up in recent years is happening right now. We are all being laughed at, okay? Other countries are looking at what's happening in America with the Epstein thing and dying of laughter, all right? The country does not even believe their own media. We're all in line with each other and united in the fact that our media is not only lying to us, but they're likely in on it, that cops are in on it, that the FBI is in on it, that the security cameras, the cameras malfunctioning are in on it. Like, everybody is in on it. I mean, hello, if that is not a big slap in the face wake-up call, then what the hell is? What the hell is? So you get to sit back and judge other people. Well, why don't you take a stance and do that? Bitch, why don't you take a stance and do this? Because, we're all in agreement here that this Epstein guy is likely not dead. He's likely free, roaming, doing whatever he wants to do, and he's still a known pedophile. and he was sex trafficking children, and cement was being delivered to his island, and known celebrities, known people in the political realm were taking flights to this island, and nobody is getting targeted. Nobody is going after them. I'm like, I don't want to be next. Are you kidding me? I don't want to be next. And I have every right to just be like, nope, not touching that one. I'm not touching that one with a 10-foot pole. Okay? I mean, for me, what's hard, the scrutiny that I receive, it's hard enough. But I'm sitting at home in my air-controlled living room right now, feeling pretty okay about life. Every now and then I get the paranoia where I'm like, oh my God, like at night, when the light goes down, I'm just like, it's a matter of time. Do I need to post out a tweet? Do I need to post up something that's like, I will never hurt myself or my kids? I just want to let that out there because of the paranoia. It sets in. But see, like how I deal with my paranoia, I feel like it's healthier than how these anonymous accounts are dealing with their paranoia right now. Like I'm not going to take it and go and like attack another person in the movement. Like, are you kidding me? And you guys are like, dude, what am I watching this for? Is there a solution? You know what? No one here has the perfect solution. I'm going to fill you in with that. Nobody here has the perfect solution. We're all barely getting by as it is. It's this new form of survival. It's knowing that you're in this corrupt matrix, and when all else fails, you just want to do right by your babies and help them make it through this poison hamster wheel less poisoned. Do you get it? This crap, you guys, the solution is already out there. And this is what's frustrating about this entire thing, this entire talk to begin with, okay? There is no law that can go against the Constitution, the law, which is the law of the land, that should be a law to begin with. There is nothing whatsoever about SB 277. Forget 276. When 277 was coming out, going after religious, personal belief, that's when that's when all of this should have just stopped. It was not constitutional to begin with. This is what people are not getting through their flipping brains right now. But seriously, consider it. As it was codified, it was unlawful to begin with. It was an unlawful statute, an unlawful mandate. There is no law. It's not enforceable under the law. It's not enforceable under the law of the land, and the only reason that these things persist is because of the medical exemptions. It's because parents are mistakenly believing that their medical exemption is a benefit, and they have no idea that they're making it all infinitely worse by refusing to not comply. So people are, well, you're not really providing any solutions. I'm telling you what it is. I'm telling you what it is that these things that are being proposed, all these bills, are garbage to begin with. They shouldn't have been taken seriously to begin with, because if the entire California vaccine truth movement, along with the New York vaccine truth movement, if those bills were passing and they were like, fuck you guys, and just enrolled their kids in school to begin anyway, refused all of these benchmarks, you know what? In a month or so, those bills would have been squashed. I'm telling you, 277, 276 would have been dead in days. Public schools, they cannot afford empty seats. They can't afford empty seats. They need the Fed's money more than they need the need to continue, right, as these unlawful enforcers of unlawful statutes. That is actually nullification in action. This is like deep, I get it. It's like deeper. It takes like an extra 2 steps to like consider this. But to continue to comply and give consent for 100% unrestrained, out of control government to eliminate your protections from unlawful statutes that you're already not subject to in the first place. I feel like a broken record. You're not subject to that shit. It's absurd. And it should be outed relentlessly. Are you kidding me? Refuting it. Refute it all and spread this. Just continue to refute it. And you're not spreading this Marxist propaganda. That's it. So stop looking to people to be leaders, to tell you what to do the next thing. I mean, whatever. Some people prefer to advocate by sitting at home and calling up representatives. Whether you want to sit back and say, that's not going to do anything, that's not going to work, hey, fine. If it doesn't work for you, then do what works for you. Really. Do what works for you. Some of this stuff, this time and this energy is better spent doing other things. Am I going to judge you, though, for doing it? No, I'm not. I can look at something and be like, well, shit. It might make more sense if we protested in this place, or if we all took over. Then you know what? Maybe I need to start sitting back and taking this finger of blame and doing this. Okay? It's sick, it's evil, it's twisted. We are up against literal Satanists. This is why I said jump off this live if this is like new for you. Because the vaccine topic, it pales in comparison to what is actually going on around us. It just pales in comparison. But I also don't want to meet a perfect stranger who still is of the brainwashed indoctrination where they still think that the syringe is actually going to help them and it's going to be healthcare. And I don't want to have a conversation with them that's going to lead into them wanting to live off the grid. And if you want to live off the grid, that's cool. That's fine. Like, no one's judging you. I'm like venturing in on that too. But getting them awake and to the same page, like, for those that are sitting back saying that all of this and bringing attention and bringing to light all of this evil and darkness is not doing anything, you're lying to yourself. It's clearly doing something. Because 10 years ago when I was posting and like it was kind of shameful. Like it was shameful, not that I saw it as shameful or not that you would view it as that as like right now, but I got shamed. I got shamed by friends and family that were like, oh my God. Like, how dare you? How dare you talk about this stuff? Like, it was bad, okay? Lost a lot of friends, lost a lot of family, lost a lot of clients, still to this day. And right now, to actually see, to be in public and to see parents wearing t-shirts that say things like, don't do it, or vaccines harm, or believe mothers, or whatever it is that is ballsy, and that is a big change. That is a big, huge change in what was happening. It's not the solution. It's not going to be the thing that causes pharma to stop in their evil ways. No, of course not. But that says a lot. That says worlds that there are this many people that are being brave and speaking out against this machine. It really does. And to not even give that credit, that sucks. That really sucks. So, wearing my Believe Mother shirt right now. And that's great. It sparks conversation, you know? These accounts that we're like making fun of and like breaking apart signage. You guys know what it takes to make a sign. To sit there, to have to pick like 8 to 9 different words that somebody could be driving in their car and somewhat piece it together what it is you're talking about. It takes effort, and you're going to have people that are going to read into things to the max. They're going to be like, oh, but there's subliminal this, and there's all, literally not even realizing that the average person is not thinking in that way. And if you have to sit back and overanalyze every single thing that you're about to post because there might be somebody that might get offended about what, guys, none of us would be able to do anything, like at all. I'd literally, if I had to sit back and make sure that somebody wasn't going to get offended by a post that I posted, I would have called it quits forever ago. Sometimes it takes weeding out the naysayers and weeding out these like haters that literally are not even doing anything to get to where you need to go. Because at the end of the day, these people, these small minds are not even going to matter. They're not going to matter. Any doctor, holistic, whoever that you're looking up to right now in this movement that is actually helping people, that has maybe 1 million followers, but like you see what they're promoting, and maybe you don't agree with 100% of what they're promoting, but they're not pharma. They're not prescribing you Tylenol. They're not prescribing you Advil. Trust that that person is successful because they don't give a shit about what the minions think about how they conduct their business. But trust that in the beginning, they likely got all that scrutiny from those who were closest to them. Friends, family. Like, how dare you? How dare you go and like, I mean, are you, really? What you're saying, any person that wants to do good and is blessed enough to receive even a dime for trying to help other people, that they're controlled? That they're taking advantage? That sounds like you're really jealous. That's what that sounds like. Okay? I would rather, and I would applaud somebody in this movement that is able to make a decent living. And I'm talking decent, like just barely able to scrape by and get by. Because they took the step, they took the leap, all right, to do something like this that is frowned upon by most of society, and they're able to get by. Like, wow, that's cool that you've got a product that is actually helping people, and you're able to help yourself, and you're able to put food on the table for you and your family. And you know what? If you're in this movement and you're considering doing this, you're considering really branching out and helping people, maybe you even want to write a book. Maybe you want to eventually write a book. And those same people, trust me, they will have their word on that too. But are you going to let it stop you? Are you really going to let it stop you? I wouldn't. If you're sitting back, I wouldn't. If you right now have even a decent following, 500 people, and you're like, you know what, I'm going to go and I want to get a degree in something, and in more of the holistic whatever, and I know, trust me, those same accounts like this that won't even show face, they'll likely say something. But they don't matter. They do not matter. Okay, if the product is good, then it's good. And that person that is coming to you for help and those success stories, you think the likes of Suzanne Humphries and Dr. Tony Bark and and Dr. Sherry Tenpenny, they get scrutinized all day long. You think that they sit back and let that stop them? No. Because why? The tens of thousands of success stories that the vitamin C protocol of Suzanne Humphries has had on families, and how it's literally saved the lives of children, that trumps any of the other bullshit. You know what? She's not doing any of this. She has bloggers who their full-time job is going after every single thing she says. She has entire websites dedicated to trying to take her down, to taking any post, to scrutinizing it, to tearing it apart, to trying to go after her family, go after her personal life. But she's too busy traveling the world and lecturing other countries on real ways to improve your health. So she's too busy doing that. And you should be too. These are incredible people, okay? The likes of, are you kidding me? Wakefield, what he was doing, the kind of mind he has, he would have been better off just keeping his mouth shut. Keeping his mouth shut when all these parents were coming up to him with all of their kids' issues, and he was clearly seeing that there was something to do with the gut and that all of it. It would have been better for him to just shut up. He would have been able to just make his money and probably owned several more houses than he has now. But no, he chose to stand up against an industry, point something out that was not popular, and because people now wanted to fund him and help him out, he's a bad guy, he's controlled opposition. Okay. Really? Okay. What's your end goal in all that? For the people that have any kind of comment in that way. You've got these anonymous accounts going after mothers with vaccine-injured children, fathers with vaccine-injured children. The lowest of the low. The lowest of the low. And these parents are putting their faces out there and sharing their stories. And these same accounts have the nerve to use words like vax injury porn. I'm seeing some of these things, and these screenshots are being sent to me left and right, and I'm going, are you kidding me? That is the most trashy way to conduct yourself in all of this. The most trashy way. We've got our backs up against the wall right now, all of us, and we're just trying to make do. And if you don't want to support somebody, or you think that somebody that, I get it. There's always going to be that % of people that is out there and is actually taking advantage. I'm not saying that I'm so optimistic. Clearly, I'm not an optimist. That there are people out there who aren't taking advantage. Some are. Yeah. And even the ones that I feel in my gut are, I'm not going to even go there and call out and create division, because what I would rather do with my time than spend hours of my day talking about some mom, is bringing more attention to the rest of the poison and the rest of the stuff that's happening to us. That's just how I roll, because it doesn't do me any good. And I feel like it doesn't do this movement any good. And if you are using your wits about you and you don't trust a certain person, or you're just like, I don't feel good about that, then you don't gravitate towards that and you don't support that. And that's fine. But trust that the bulk of us would rather be doing anything else. Like, we'd rather be doing anything else. But you know what? Some of us have Jonah syndrome, where you don't want to talk about something. You really don't want to talk about something. Like, you run away from it. You run away from what you know deep down in your heart is a calling. And like, shit, I have to say something. But what happens? You don't say anything. Maybe you didn't say anything, and somebody close to you got injured. Somebody close to you got affected, and you are like guilt tripping yourself, going, if I just said something, maybe I could have helped. Anyway, so what do? You start saying something, right? You start talking. And then what happens? Jonah syndrome. It physically hurts the bones in your body to not speak out on injustice. There's some of us that it's easier than others. And in whatever it is I'm doing, I will always find a way to speak out and highlight darkness in this world. That is what we were called to do. In anything. In any job that I've ever had. That's what you're supposed to do. Okay? If you're not speaking out, then that burning desire that's inside of you, instead of using the energy on doing what you know you should be doing, you're going to go and you're going to drag and slander another person that is, even though you don't like the way that they are, but they are. That says so much more about you as a person. It really does. Because what sucks about all this, and why I felt like I had to speak out on it, number one, I was like, well, whatever, I can at least save it. So the next time, drama, because it seems like it's inevitable, I could be like, I did a live on that, and here's a link. But it bums me out, because I'm feeling like I'm already so much stronger of a personality. Like, that kind of stuff doesn't affect me. Partly because I am getting laid. But that kind of stuff doesn't affect me, really, obviously, than it would somebody else. And if there's somebody out there that's like, man, I totally would say something, but then that kind of stuff is going to prevent them from speaking. It just is, and it's not cool. You guys realize this venting here? I do this to you guys so that I don't do this to my husband. Like, Jeff is gone when I do my lives half the time, or he's like in the other room, or he's upstairs, or, and he'll just be like, how was your live, honey? And this kind of stuff, this makes me feel I just feel like so much better. I feel so much better. And I don't have to like talk to him about all this stuff. We could talk about all the other stuff. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? I let you guys in on my secret right now. You're like, damn, well, shit, maybe I wouldn't be venting to my husband or spouse or significant other if I would just use that energy and vent to like other people. Other people that don't need to do that physical work to get me to the point of orgasming. Oh, man. Oh, man. Afternoon delight. That's what this is all about. You're like, dang, okay, that's her schedule, isn't it? So she does her lives, takes a big long break, then posts about some other highlight and some other... Oh, I get it. I get it. It's got awkward in here. Got way awkward in here. Maybe that's why I don't care as much. Damn, maybe I would care a lot more. Yeah, that's right. I take back everything I just said. I'd be like really upset at home and bitter. I'd be going after all of you bitches if I wasn't getting laid. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So, that being said, I'm going to go work on a VAERS highlight that's long awaited. One that's probably going to get deleted off anyway and reported. But one that I feel like I want to do and I want to work on. Just cuts. So I'm going to do that. And it's probably going to be all in vain and all for naught, because half the time none of this matters, because I'm talking to people that are not taking their health into their own hands. You know? Your health and the health of your kid, that's on you. And that's always been on you. And what sucks is you were failed by a system that was designed to fail you, because it thrives on you being sick. You know? The rooster's in the hen house. If you're going to somebody that profits when you're sick. So what you're doing is, now knowing that, you have entrusted complete strangers on social media with your kid's health. No. Their health is on you, and it's always been on you. Okay? And these strangers on the internet, they're human beings. They make mistakes. They're capable of error. You have to know that. You have to understand that, okay? That if a doctor is not liable or pharma's not liable, nobody is liable for what happens to your kids except for you. And that sucks. That's a sucky realization. But that's the way this cookie crumbles. So you need to take their health into your own hands, okay? And if you're not going to be supportive, then sit back, you know what I mean? Like, and figure out a different way and use your energy in a different way. So anyway, I feel like I've exhausted this talk and I'm ready to go have a decent afternoon. And we'll chat soon. Okay, guys? But I felt like I just had to say that because it's getting ridiculous out there. It really is. And it's like tiresome. It's tiresome. What a waste of time, honestly. All right. We'll chat in a bit. Bye, guys.